Please tell us your name.
Palatse Sungrona.
Pagya.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama asked us to record your experience so that we can share your memories with many generations of Tibetans, the Chinese, and the rest of the world. Your memories will help us to document the true history, culture, and beliefs of the Tibetan people. Do you give your permission for the Tibet Oral History Project to use this interview?
Kyamgu Rinpoche nganzula kalop nayala. Ane pemi mirab mangboche kya mirik je zambulingi kento gi chedu ane pebe konglo tewa gi tsuge ane mizi lugyu du durup chigo res. Ane mizi lugyu dunzu ne ane pege ane gerab ta rikshu ngoma di kari yeme dine ha kogres. Ane tharing tiwa tilen cheba de ane pege nga gyun gerab legul gi peju tang chogurwa. Yes, you can use it.
Thank you for offering to share your story with us.
Palagi nganzula lugyu sonro nangi yesongbode toji che shugi yinsa.
During this
I have to thank you because you are doing so much.
During this interview, if you wish to take a break or stop at any time, please let me know.
Tiwa tilen chebe kablaya ane palaka goya da parsing guguduna songrona.
Ka goya chi chayu ki mare tangal mambote shuya yo mare dom tebuchi. Kasi ajaran kari shuya na ta peje tinde inge roba.
If you do not wish to answer a question or talk about something, let me know.
Ane tiwa kashi la len gyundu meba yina da gyoma tuba dinde yina yushana digres.
Kaya ki mare.
If this interview was shown in Tibet or China, would this be a problem for you?
Tiwa tilen di pyoda gyana temba yina ane pala la kange kari yorwes. There'll be no problem for me.
We are honored to record your story and appreciate your participation in this project.
Ane tharing gyala gi dele ya lugyu shega pheba dele ya kabu chungs.
Pala, can you please tell me how old you are and where you were born?
Pala konglo khazures.
Lo tunju tungure.
Ane chungsa khaware.
Komburande.
I'm 79 years old and I was born in Kongpo.
And how many people were in your immediate family?
Pala ge nale ya pala chinji yimbe kabla ya na nangmi khazi yore.
Namne pogu shi phamani jogyor.
We were 6 in the family, the 2 parents and 6 children.
And
4 children.
4 children.
Sorry.
And Pala, how did you get your name, Pakya?
Ane pala la ya ane ming la Pakya khandes ra re sa.
No chungjo khal nanne ane shiro chite ming tukja ta bres.
When I was very small, I fell ill and then I was given this bad name.
What is the tradition to give a child a bad name instead of a good name?
Ane di luksu di khandre ina ta pugun chik na ba ina roala ming yakpu chi ma tra bache ming dukpu chi te ya khari ina.
Ate ming tukja ti te ve luksu ne da tu te o khoya tra gres.
The traditional belief was that if the child was given a bad name, he would recover from his illness.
And why would he recover?
Ane ming dupu yuna ane khandes thagre ming.
Te kashe ta kembe lukju rola ngoma lukju te. Rola ngoma me miro mambu ta lukju na da chi yimba ro.
That was the belief since ages, you know.
Okay. And what does your name Pakya mean?
Ane ming Pakya lamna khare lagi yore thenda.
Pakwe jabal labor.
It means the excrement of pigs.
Did you have any trouble as a child, or were you teased about your name?
Ane pala pu chinji imbe kable ya ta ming Pakya yo za pu dun zu chale gyap dinde chigre.
Chig mare. Te luksu yo mare.
No, nobody teased. It never happened.
Was it unusual for children to have names that were like that?
Ane pugu chinju dinde la ya ta dinde ming phakya lange ta ming chobu dinde ta gyo yorwe ta dinde
yor 공부날라 텐데 가서 갈리 두 집파자 선들 치자 선들 텐데 두
in Kongpo it was prevalent, you know, there were names like a pig excrement or of dog's excrement.
And were these names given to ward off spirits, evil spirits, or to fool them? What was the reason?
Tajik dukja ta du rabuji ta dukja chi dukja segu yara pugu dilaya bang khonju pha kaya thanda rabuji re pugu dilaya neba mayo ya
pugu ko nadra bal ya traya chi le ming dukja ta go ta ming dukja ta na te ko ya tragri hil habor.
So when a child was sick, such a name was given to him with the belief that he would be cured and get well.
So Pala, please tell us a little bit, when you were a child, say under 12 years old, what kind of activities were you doing as a child in your family?
Pala konglo chungni le chunga yindirwa ta bugu chinji yindigane en na la lega khari nangi
samje soga dogor boju ta raluk tene soga dogor.
I used to go and graze our cows, sheep, and goats.
And what was the livelihood of your family?
아니 남이 저기 또그 간데 책이여라.
신갈래가 저도고래. 신갈래가 저도고래.
They were farmers.
They were farmers. So was more of the work in farming and less in grazing and owning cattle and sheep?
아니 싱레 망아체로와 샘제 융아여레 간데래.
땅 빠르게 나 룩주로 봐.
네, 빨라 친주이 메깔라르다.
나 촌주 갑라 싱가 할에서 망고 요 말에 샘제 버주 숨쉬던데 요래. 다 rollu 때서 망아 유지를. 때 직진인이 할에서 요 말에 보고 와.
So we did farming as well as cattle rearing, but the farm area was not large, and we had only 3 to 4 cows, but we had more sheep and goats.
And at what age was a child expected to take responsibility for caring for the animals? And what were their other responsibilities?
부구 춘주인디로와 록하즈스네 애니 라루 초주래.
록나 돈 가는 도고래. 등제 중도바 라루선 도고래. 부구 집사니사 숨서들이 냠도 동제로 되게.
So when a child reached about 6, 7, 8, then he would go with other children of his age to graze the animals.
And how did you take care of the animals when you were 6, 7, and 8? When you were grazing them, what were your duties?
아니 타로 툭두 게츠라야 아니 라루 초가 페게 열와 아니 라루 초들 간에 가리가리 다 랭게 가리가리 열에
다코도 탕가 양바 열에 데 리다 텐데 조그마레 라루파 탕갈파 디 탕갈 대셔는 되게 고강에 요마레 라루소
신나 조그마레
신나질 조그마레 신나질 조그마 탕가 여러 빵가 자친구 열에 어떤데 나라 대셔게.
We took the sheep out onto the grasslands, and they were plain grasslands, and we let them loose to eat grass.
And while the sheep were eating grass, what did the children do together?
아니 다 루돈조 짜사 되기로와 루 청에 뿌고 돈조 가르치기래.
뿌고 되게 제모다서 되기를 다 추날에 제모전 이렇게 되기래.
We played games, and we also played in the rivers.
Oh, really? Tell us about playing in the river. Were they deep, and was the water warm or cold? What did you do?
추나라 쩨무찌기 열와 추띵 링류 열에 야첼류 열에
추다 첨부터는 열와 뒤는 조금 아래 보고 다추 예라든데 요르바 체미 추메든데 어디데 나 점자 두거리.
We did not venture out into the big rivers, but in the tiny streams and tributaries.
And what kind of games did you play in the rivers?
추나라 제모 가르치기에.
다추날 추파 되게 수지 치고 추날 점시라 제야 요래 추도리 지기리 담을 시대이리.
We rolled in the water and we threw water on each other and that sort of games, you know.
It sounds like that kind of games would be best to play in the summertime when the weather is warm. Is that so?
야가 차와 체도 된데 지기기를 추나 제모.
네, 사와서 도가 염하래. 사와 염하다.
You know, it never grew very hot in my region.
Very hot.
It didn't grow very hot.
So even when it was cold, you would still take off your clothes and play in the river?
남시 장모인들게 추나 제모지기.
점세 그래. 다 금가 굉장히 그냥 출차와 차도 오러와. 점세야 염하래. 다 차와 갈 도탄 것들이.
도.
차와 킹되게 봐 또. 아니 되게 도탄 걸 보고 있으면서.
We played with water in winter too, but the water was frozen at that time, so we used to, slide stones over the frozen waters.
And when you were grazing in the summertime and springtime, what kind of games did the children play together in the fields?
아니 야가다 아니 지가 도와래야 아니 제모 가르치기랬어.
답부 야갈 때 답부 섬진다 소도 제모세가 다 지가라 싱가땀네 야 텐도 가도야 제나모도 섬진 소도 말에 섬진을 당하시나 되거든. 다 텐도야 제사나 때 섬진 소가도.
In spring, when the crops had grown, then we had to go and look after the animals. Otherwise, we could just let them loose out.
I see. And if the crops had grown, why did you have to look after the animals?
아니, 뜬도 야게 차들간에 아니 심진 가르치는 척을 했어.
맨날 고신가 사다 답시부터 사두거리 보라.
Otherwise, the animals would eat the crops.
Yeah, you had to protect the crops.
Oh, that's.
Yes, I thought so. And let's see, were there any dangers that happened, or any unusual memories you have as a child when you were out taking care of the animals and as a young boy?
아니 다 로친주 제 샘제 초가 두고요와 엔디 갑라야 아니 냥가 된데 친구 여바다 된데 빨라 ten 수기도 했지 강에 중요하다고
냥가 된데 요래 샘제 세nye 데모스야 되고 파라스야 되고 된데 요래
제몽다
데모스야 되고 파라스야 되고 된데 요래
아네
데모그 샘제 콘다 really 루드나 데모그 세도래 님이 공이야 파라스가 지 요래 디 용거래.
Yes, there was danger because then we had this this brown bear and wild dogs which came to eat the animals.
Did you ever see this brown bear with your own eyes?
아니 빨라미기 제몽 신유베사.
데모 통요 돌로 지 락바지 요래고 락바지들 부싱싱치 요래고.
Tell us what happened when you saw him, please.
아니 가르쳤어. 아니 제몽 통네 빨라. 제몽게 가르쳤어.
제몽 곤다 reluk kangpa na chuk sikir wala. Ko reluk chuk sa kangpa til tima shida yore. Tima shida yore, tima kakar wa, ane tima yungur ko. Te kuyo kangpa kosta lo sikir da ko. Kangpa kosta lo sikir. Da tende kabla te nganzo te da jab chi suk, te tima pa piwore.
Yes, I have seen brown bears. They are hairy creatures. And we normally in the evenings, in the nights, we keep the sheep and goats in a closed pen, and then it would give out a strong smell, so that it attracted the brown bears, and they would come and knock down the door, and when they came, we would bring out our dogs and try to frighten them away.
And can you describe how big were the brown bears? If they were standing up, how big?
아니 제모 디야 랑데요나 칠류 가지요래 빨라.
밀레 체나무도 총만다. 배 전부 열고 그 딘데 열을 딘데 생각 전부 틱틱 딘데 열 라코고 아니 콜라나데 밀레르나 유들다.
If a brown bear stood up, he was not shorter than a man. He was quite tall.
Taller than a man, as tall as you are?
빨라 디가스 요르베.
요다유 날레르나 모두 통구만다 야라나.
Yes, if he stood up, he would be taller than me.
열고 전부 열다.
And it was huge in size.
Oh. And were there many of these bears in the area?
아니 인데 망보요래 제몽.
데모 생겼대 레사니 삼부터 요마르. 근데 망부 주 망부 요마르. 콜라 부구니 티용 거로 콜라. 부구니 티 년주 년 대서 강벌 용버고. 다가 때도 로페체 줍니 좁게 인제를 달라. 인제해. 아니 데모 나를 용버고. 아니 치망부 수. 아니 니 주바 쿠 데모 네가 도용이.
Yes, there were not many brown bears. They only came in ones or twos. And then one day, a brown bear came to my house with two little ones. And I was about 17 or 18 years old then. And then I went with my dogs and a staff to scare him away.
And were you successful?
아니 미 개박을 거주 렘다 땅스. 데모 꼽을 죽네 데모 소용 미주 키도 그래 일라고도. 내가 한 먹으러 와 주바 키 뒤도 그랬단다.
And then the older people, they came and scolded me because they said a brown bear would turn back and catch a human and take him away. But I didn't know at that time.
How old were you at that time when you scared the bear away with two baby cubs?
Yes. Pala tuduganalo chupdun chopge songiwa.
줍디 좁게 인지를.
I might have been about 17 or 18.
What else could you do? What would the adults advise you to do?
아니 파테 마테나 아니 가르치고래 미겐 받은지 가르치시기도.
미 템바디게 날 거주 렘다 땅스 큐든데 데모 꼽을 죽네 데모 부고 키도 그래 일라고도.
아니 심바 가르치고래 아니 마테나.
다 마디나 그 캄바난 주제를 키도 그러.
Yes, that's what the older people told me. But if I had not chased him away, he would have taken away the sheep and goats.
So he was coming into the animal enclosure,
pen.
the animal pen. I see. Did the people, the farmers, ever kill the bears and take their skin, or did they just try to chase them away?
네, 참참라 미든데기로와 제몽 세르와 근데 지르와 다
데모 세니 요래. 데모 세나 다가세 lumbanal 데모 세 초마르. 데모 세 주로 계세 슈거르. 송 여러바. sombolya tene lumbal chemo ne ke thuse ane taba semjen da mila ne ke nguto ko je temo se juro ke se son le shugor son de shuna ane son ge tende tukja ngone thane tukja yina ane temo se shose ane pakpa de thigba de ma ki shose
pakpa da
thigba
네 So yes, there were instances when brown bears were killed, but normally killing was not allowed. You had to get a special permit from the district office. You had to go with a request saying that a particular brown bear was endangering the people's lives and also the livestock. And then if it was true, the district official would grant his permission. But after killing the brown bear, the skin and the gall of the bear had to be given to the district officer.
Paolo, what do you think was the reason behind this requirement to not randomly kill bears and to require each person getting permission?
아니 간주 만주 세 마초 바체로와 아니 가서 정부에 다 디고로와 다 같이 정부에 슈네 아니 공게 다세 초그레 송고요와 근데 간주 만주 세 마초에 디 카리나사
띵가란조 어페숑기야 세팀 리발 세팀 가르스마타 소자 생게데 별 간주 만주 세 초고 말에 That
was the law of the Tibetan government. We were not allowed to kill randomly, though there were many wild animals around. So these days you have what is called environmental protection. That's the same thing, we were not allowed to set fire to the mountains or kill wild animals then.
What were some of the other environmental protections that were going on? So no fire spill, no burning allowed. Why would people do burning?
다 셴바 쿠유 숭갑다고 가르치기요래 나가모 싱나라 맥갑 초고요 말와 싱나라 맥갑나 가르치기래
다 싱망보 색도로 부망보 색도로 돈다 싱나 맥갑나 남고 자순주 마사데 시도도 데 숑게 쩨팀리 맥갑 초마르
setting the woods on fire would mean burning the woods, burning the insects, and even the birds from the skies would drop down. So that was the law of the Tibetan land.
Now, I was trying to understand, why would somebody set the woods on fire?
아니, 신나라다 메시게 그래.
용식이라 봐. 테스트바 메 쇼르바 용식이라 봐.
Yeah, it might happen by accident. It could happen.
I see. Were there other environmental laws that the Tibetan government had in your area when you were growing up?
아니, 다 심지 세 마초야다 신나다바 메기야 마초야. 근데 마잉바야 슝기 팀 가리가리요래. 다 구육 숨겨기 팀리도아. 나오 가리가리 심바 가리가리요래 발라.
다 오티 리다 이나한다 릴리 메캬비야 이나한다 가리 이나타 페나 추날 냐순주 세 조마탈.
냐춘주
세 조마.
냐세 조마.
조마탈. 그 미주 산이 조그마 잡세 고르마도 세 조마로.
Yeah, fishing was not allowed unless some people did it very, very secretly or something,
Why was fishing not allowed?
냐 가르치는 세 주고요 말에.
다코 소자도 볼. 콜소 여러분.
Oh, because they are living beings and they have
다 티베트는 랍티고르 볼.
So we are talking about sin here, committing sin.
And tell us the name of your village and how many people were in it, please.
아네 발라게 총셋 되게 민라 가리래.
네 총셋 미 세나.
신앙체와 아니 신앙나라 미 가지시요래.
신앙나라 다 정바 할에서 망부 요 말을 미치. 납주 투주다 예나. there's moto tromba mam jachimbu yo mare.
Sining was not a very large town. Perhaps there were about 50 to 60 people living in it.
I want to go back to that last statement. The fish were living beings, and it would be a sin to kill them. So when was it okay to kill animals like sheep or yaks or something like that? Was there ever permission to do so, and under what circumstances?
Any tanganzu dilagi yorwala ta nyada dinde sebena changma soja yo janganzu dikpa yorwala sena ta ya lukta yada dinde chamjam se chogi yore segi yore mare khandele
tige ta susu soshaba susu peju tang yarita tige ka shungla se churo che chuko ya yo mare susu se chogo.
So the sheep and other animals that you had were domestic animals, and they were raised for our own use. And to kill any of these animals, you didn't need a permission from the government.
So there was no sin in killing these living beings.
Ania ta ralu da dinde seba yinarwa. Ani tunju sediu gane ta soja yinza en tikpa yo mareves.
Tikpa te yore yina ta chi mani tangi cheme da phu mani da tanche se go ko. So se peju tang ya sober wala.
Oh, there is sin in killing all living beings, but then we had to kill them and we said our prayers for them.
What kind of prayers do you say for them before you kill them?
아니 다 돈좀 마생년에 가지고 이제 많이 다 땡기여래 다 샵된다고 가르치기여래 샘진 돈좀 세
같이 체면다 표그래 때 만년다 tan테 치기래.
So we said the mani prayer and then also lit butter lamps for them.
And would that be every time you killed an animal, you would say a mani prayer and light butter lamps, or?
아니 디 샘진 다 나래야 소샤죠 샘진 여러와 다 소수 사야 된다 세기 여러와 샘진 가두 세네게 아니 mani 아니 쉐미 퓨이데 치기 여러와. That was done. Yes, that's right.
Each time. There was a killing.
Yes.
And Pala, how far was your village from the nearest city?
아니 팔라기 총습 진앙 여러와 디 담라 게사 치시 타 니부 카디레.
게사 시 염하달.
다 가주 타는 가주
다 대선 마도나 쇼가 총스 총부 대서 지어봐. 디 쇼가 총.
딜레 타링아 도나 가바 투그레.
디 담마 다 디네 마마제 공부 메일 만도서 여. 나야 공부야 토서야르.
So there were no larger towns close by. If you traveled a little while, you would meet the Shoka district, and then if you still travel further, it was Kombo Me.
Oh, Kombo Me. And do you have any memories in your childhood of other events or things that happened in your village?
아니 Pala chinji induganerwa and chongsep nalia jik damera chungwada the December na tanda tenso yungudu esa.
Are ta ngara tesa tombate nali nga chungju khariche mache tende hito.
Ani tenso jik
ta tende kholi she ta tashini she batana re lo ya se chi lo tin che tende lemna ralu so dogor wal. Ta tene ya lo chem lo chup tin chop je ta bare na ti me themba nyam do lega dogor. And susu lega kari jonai
Yes, I do think about those childhood years in my village. As I told you earlier, when you were 7 or 8, you went to graze the animals, and then as you grew older, like 17 to 18, then you you worked with the adults of the village, and you did whatever you were able to do, any type of work.
So that when you were 17 or 18, you were not working on the farm, you were working in the village?
Farm is in the village.
Oh, just working on the farm.
Farms, yes.
I see.
Along with the adults.
Along with the other people. I see. And did your village life stay peaceful, or were there any changes that happened in your village?
Ni pala thongse shube kable ya tha mitsi kibu chinike degi yore yan di jelo yuwa droswes.
Ta nameda so yongurta samre kangye chembo yongure ya samre tesi kibo yongure.
In our lives, there were many different times, and at times you had difficult times, and at times you were happy days.
Okay. And do you have any special memories of anybody coming through your village?
Any palagi thongsep nalaya ani mi keda che dinde phebadan dinde ki pala thensu yona.
Ta mi chema tharimuni shibo yonye yomare. Ta shong kuda dinde yona mi ga song te yerwal. Na ya lumbo khukjo de jil yor. Langa chembo kek mare.
So where we lived was not on the main road, and if Tibetan noblemen or officials came, they would always stay at the district office.
Did any noblemen come through your village?
아니 쇼가 종내게 쇼가 종래야 아니 미 개체부들이 폐뇨 여러왜
용거를 좀다 흉고구다 근데 용거를 봤삼데 마 감롱만 로고야 잡었는데 다때와 동리세야 잡었는데 용거를.
So people who had to go to Kham area, they had to pass through the Dzong, that's the district, Shoka district, and so did the postmen, who are called the Atung.
The Atung came through. And okay, and did the Chinese ever come through your village?
아니 gyamileyo
재미 쇼가 총리요.
And the Chinese were there at Shoga district.
They were. What was your first experience of seeing the Chinese?
And pala gyami thangbu khati pala siswe.
다 로탄 땡하는 시야 민두달. 페이지 다 감문이 야야야야치 때 야야 도용으로 벌. 담보 야용도 모델랑가 요 말을.
아니.
콘도 독대 키제 용거로.
So yes, the Chinese, they were in Kham, and then they gradually came towards our area. At that time, there were no vehicles, and they had to come. There were no roads, so they couldn't travel in vehicles, and they came walking with their things on their back.
What did they do when they came through your village, Pala?
다 재미 당부 감문이야 용거로 벌. 자와는 뭐지 자날 팬에다 재미게 거리 러버스도 별이야 됐네. 진주 시와토니 진주 당게 인스. 잡부토니 당게 매스.
갱구름 뭐지 자날.
자와는 뭐지 자날 패버고 넙죽넙죽 패도할.
In the year 1954, His Holiness the Dalai Lama went to China, and there the Chinese told him that they were going to enforce peaceful liberation in Tibet.
다 자나래 몽세동 다 저울에다 콘조파라 손도 손에 안에 별이야 진주 시와 당기 모두 잡부 당게 매스 그 개념 제도 모두시 개념 제도를.
So the Chinese leaders were Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai.
How do you know about His Holiness going to China? How did you know about that fact?
아니 pala kyamgwe rinpoche ane gyana la pheba pala khandes hakho khensu.
nenzu lungban ma phere.
Oh, he went through my village.
사산 마제 nenzu lungban ma phere kombu ma phere.
He came from Lhasa and he went through Kongpo.
Oh my goodness. How did you know he was coming before he came?
ane pala na bachogirwa kunde ma phengele ya phegi yobadi dingye ne hakhoyewe.
hak고고요. 데모군한테 자원은 제 폐용을 해서 다 모델랑가 요 말을 다디디 로고를 랑가 어떤 간주 신다 체 랑가 신 수수 여러봐 디제 파체 돈에나 파고 자원은 제 폐우세 랑가서 아니 출을 상받았다 어디에 제간도 더.
Yes, we had knowledge because there were no roads at that time, and since His Holiness and entourage would be on mules, so I went along with my people to clear the bushes, and then we also cleared rocks that were on the way, and then made bridges.
And how many days of preparation did you have to prepare?
kyamgurumche ma phengela ane nima khajiji ane pala kyunjula ya langa jangma se
nima pheje taba nima chuchonga nge langa sur.
I would say about 10 to 15 days before His Holiness arrived.
And can you remember how long of a distance you and the villagers tried to prepare? Was it how many kilometers?
Ane pala kyungzu thongse mi gi lamga sur wala and lamga tha ringlu sur
랑가 페지 니만니 지 사실 랑가 서도 때문에 가르치고는 수수 산에 랑가 서고 동수 여러 발 텐데 랑가 서도
So we made the roads up to a distance of 2 days journey, and then it was divided among the villages which fell on the roads. So ours was 2 days.
2 days journey from your village
To the next.
To come entering your village.
Yes,
Entering
and
it.
towards the next.
And then towards 2 days away.
Yes.
I see. And what did it involve? A great deal of work, or just putting a few rocks away? How much work was involved?
아니 내가 망려 요래 지금 때제 장마 써야 다부래 양 때스칼레 카보이
칼리 하고든데 요 말에 저 랑가로 더 독자들이나 봐서 꼬세 아니 신들이나 근데 여러 번 공부를 신망뭐 신들게 봐치 랑가 자서다 어딘데 뭐도 요 말에
The work was not difficult. We just moved stones that were found on the way, or if there was bushes or wood in the path, we cut them away.
I see. Was the land for 2 days journey before your village? Was it mountainous or was it a plains? What was the land like?
아니 빨라 균즈 니만니 기 랑가 스르와라 니만니 기 랑가 디 사자 디 리레 마 숑레 칸데레
마 숑레 레 테시 탈한데 테시 요레 라쳔부 요 마레 테시 지 요레 다 숑레 랑가 리 요레 왈 리담 랑가 요레
Yes, it was not very steep, so it was on the lower part of the hill, so it wasn't very steep.
And if you were born in 1931, and that was 1954, then you were about 23 at that time. So what was your feeling about seeing His Holiness?
아니 디 갑라 ngapchu chikdong gobja ngapchu ngapshirwala pala chikdong gobja sumchu soji degas like tungdwala sidi pala lo ni saksum resha ani di kabla kyam go rumboje jedi gane ani pala khande dawchi chwa ke
tanga lo peji ni shu
saksum
sata sadi lebu jeta
saksum resha di ka
ni saksum tende lebu jeta
ola e kyam go rumboje je
man to de jawarum jim ma pedu nga take bringal la samalam ju chi ni she urwata
la
랑가 딜 도난 디 야부여르 딜 도난 디 야부여르 셰니지 구다직 냠도 당수가 다가데 춘네 따바다데 망알 치니 요 말에 이나가 구다직 냠도 로데 사만람 주 치니가 직 나케서 아니 구다디 nga 타른 거 티모서 마 타른 거 티모서
when His Holiness arrived, I was sent with one of the noblemen to lead the way, but the nobleman did not take me very far away with him.
Do you know why he did not take you?
Ani kuda digi pala tharin bu kharchin matina.
ngal keje tisa kuda di kuda 첨부래도 kuda 충주드네 레만도 빼 kuda 첨부드래도 자와름 제 가와 페나 오데 냠도도 공다소도 소 텐데 난도 공패도도 이나 때 공은 할 계지 됐어 저래 라실이 임바 저래 특배 임바스 계지 됐어 내가 나를 특조 일라비 알레 야야 안에 되게 다 보고 니제 산이만 조마다 산이 저래야 로 아수부터
Then this nobleman, he was a very high official who always traveled wherever His Holiness the Dalai Lama went. And he asked me, if I was hired to go with him or if it was a form of tax that I was paying. And then he said the next day I could go back.
And were you hired to go with him, or was it a form of tax?
아니 빨라 구자 디냠도 줘야 디 체르베 야
체티버도 봐 가시 달로니 티버데 가시 미랑한테 티고 근데 저 땅할 미랑 티버데
아니 가시 따째 그래
가시 따마 냠도 케마 딜로 봐 어디 달로니 도고 페지 니망가 도고르다.
So that was a form of tax, and some people were taxed to go, transport with their horses, while I was taxed in that form.
And so the way you were taxed was to accompany
the nobleman and show the way.
Short ways. And do you think that the nobleman did not want to impose that on you? Was that the reason he sent you back?
Ane theri laptu kana ane kota de ta khana kange yore samnen pala ya
어 되게 이거를 봐. 나 대대 가르다 나 수부침부 요 말을. 아 수부침 좀 요래. 그다음에 한 인치게 얘기를.
Yes, that seemed to be it, at that time I was quite short, and then perhaps the nobleman took pity on me.
You were short in stature?
Short in stature.
At 23, you were shorter than you are now?
ane 단달래서 우충아 여래.
아 대도 나 친구 요 말에. 나 로즈 숨주 삼마심도 봤대 나 마음을 걸어 봐. 그 수부침부 차고도 마음을.
So yes, at that time I was short, and when I was about 30 and joined the army, it was only at that time that I became tall.
Ah, I see. So, had you ever seen His Holiness before, and how did you feel about seeing him this time?
아니 빨랑 디 짱구름스 디니엘라 제뉴유나.
자와는 뭐 지금 마페도 공부도 마 장난 페버를 봐. 대도 제버를.
딩군라 제뉴.
디니엘 제뉴메.
No, I hadn't seen His Holiness until he passed through my village to go to China.
I see. Can you tell us what was the feeling you had when you saw His Holiness come through your village?
아니 다 빨라기 아니 겨울음지 패사 제로와 다 장제라. 근데 디 제베qabla 빨라기 세메나 초와 가리 중수에.
땅아 나라 셈바데르지 자와는 빈 제나 빼마싱아 셈바 간예데지. 셈바 가간예지 양치 캔사보다다 파수 자와는 좀 마잖아 페르도 셈바 양 쪼년다다 어떻게 연구도
It was a strange feeling, I was very happy to see His Holiness, but at the same time, I felt sad that he was traveling to China.
Can you tell us about that feeling, about what made you sad about his traveling to China?
아니 딱경불무체 갸나라 페두요로와라 디 빨라 켄디가네 디기 타셈바교요로와라 근데 갸나라 페두 셈바교고에 디 빨라 카리나
재미디 가르레스나 야구 마르스다 내도 재미코 독자르스 다 자와는 뭐 갸나라 페마 티도나 재미가 두고 치기레스 다 고고 땅에 티도고 레스 라보르는 좀
we knew the Chinese were not good, and it used to be said that Chinese were taking away His Holiness to China but deceiving him.
First of all, how did you know the Chinese were not good?
아니 디캅라야 아니 게미 야구 매와 빨라 킹주 간데 킹기요래.
다 캄몰마 두부시다 땅볼 루주 고고 그러면서
we used to hear about the happenings in Kham where the Chinese were, causing a suffering on the people.
What kind of suffering?
아니 두포 가리 땅기 여바 빨라 남부수 고수에.
다 재미 친구이나 땅기 인스전 다 지도대 자원을 좀 장난 패도대 재미 친구 땅요 말다래. 땅요 말에. 다 땅그 레스 전에 그다 독자 셰티고를.
When His Holiness went to China, at that time the liberation was not implemented, but the talk was there that they would implement it.
Now, if the village people thought that they were deceiving His Holiness, how do you think that His Holiness was being deceived? Because His Holiness is a wise person. So how could such a wise person be deceived by the Chinese?
아니 정세바기 라비알라야 타 게미 고고 땅기 요리스
라비 요르와
아니 갸르므첼라 아니 타 게미 가와 고고 땅 간데스 고고 땅 투레스
고고 땅 버벌 그 베나 별이야 다 친구 땅도 시와 모두 더붙이기 면서 그 모토식이 켈렌도 할래 켈렌 돌 다 제일 자와도 뭐치 넙주 강가 rol을 때문에 자나냐 별이야 패러벌 다 별이 패사네 다 재미고 똑똑똑똑똑 따네 아니 자와도 뭐치 게 자나마 이게 테마스도 마우토시 거리 랍소세도 자나게 뱀보 마우토시다 거도 타고버어 쇼치라데 나도 별마 팬이 구다 자와도 뭐치 다 나베다 구다 망보지 생배고 도와 되게 보라 쇼치라 샤 아니 마고 재미 마고 니 지데 샤네 아니 마우토시 거리 랍소세나 아니 별이야 로봇이가 땅에 있어 군이 마고 했더니 별이야 로봇이가 땅에 있어
땅기
아니 군이 이 별이야 도거체나 아니 저라마 이게 땅 쇼스 들랍도알 다 자원은 업중앙을 야패사를 다 별이야 감원은 마라 잡고 감원을 마못 잡으래 암동을 마 잡으래 감니야 마 잡으래 되네 갈래 다 토사 야야야 마 잡으래 마 태문 망고 잡사래 다 되네 때그 재미게 사설이야 다 독도 땅사래 다 그 시와 지금 민두세 자원은 뭐 챙게 마도실 이게 테마 인솜 땅 인솜을 아니 딜리아 런춘을 내 맞추었어 아니 자원 뭐 때에서 도바사 송송을 어떤데
they did deceive because Mao Zedong had agreed to enforce peaceful liberation, but at that time I was told that during the meeting the Chinese officials sat on one side and the Tibetan officials, and that was like Ngabu Ngawang Jigme and His Holiness was on one side, and then Mao Zedong pointed to two army commanders and told His Holiness the Dalai Lama that I am sending these two men to Tibet to help the Tibetans, and in case they do not carry out their work properly, then you have to write to me. That's what Mao Zedong was to have told His Holiness. And then His Holiness returned to Tibet from China in 1955. And by then, battles had taken place in Kham and Amdo regions. And also the Chinese were, becoming worse and worse in Lhasa. And at that time, it is said that His Holiness wrote to Mao Zedong 2 or 3 times, but he did not receive any reply. And that was when he grew suspicious.
What did he write to Mao Zedong and that he received no reply about?
Mao Zedong la kyang gurmis thangman ni sum chadi phirwa la chadi na la khariti na Mao Zedong la ya chadi phirwa kyang gurmis chadi phirwa khariti na dinala
어디 제상아 마오쩌둥게 마부니 별 땅에 별 로봇이야 뭐도 저기 잡부치야 맨스전 마오도시 켈레 종송을 아니 군이 야랩네 군이 도가 뭐도 군이 야가 지금 민두스 마오도시 군이 도가 전나 때만 이게 당쇼 아스 때 군이 마 팬데 이미스
Mao Zedong had agreed to enforce peaceful liberation and through the 2 commanders that he sent, but they were just doing the contrary in the country, and that was when His Holiness wrote to Mao Zedong about it.
Do you think His Holiness initially thought that the liberation was a peaceful liberation of Mao was going to be good for the Tibetan people?
And 당보 경부를 미친게 공야라와 한다 징드 시베 징드 땅기 있으라와 다디 딘데 콘수 ngo마 딘데 땅기 레스
다 시와 모두 저 잡부 별 지금 해서 그 라버월 다 제일 그 잡부 모두 그 시와 제요 말이다 다 잡부 지도 다 별메마다 말아서 다와 옥업중하고 다와 숨배기 세버출을 안에 숨지 뒤에서야 되는 것도 버려 그 잡부 장치네
Yes, first that the Chinese had said there would be peaceful liberation, but what happened was just the opposite. And then, in 1959, on the 10th of March, the uprising started.
So, but what exactly do you think the liberation was supposed to be in an ideal way, that His Holiness would agree to consider it for Tibet? Does that make sense?
Yeah. 다 시외 징들 스나로알라 가레타 부직래야 아니
다코 문에서는 간도 별이야 코 재미고 톱당카이 요 말을 봐라 이나다 제 가르치기 안에 별이야 다배 독자시다 두스 아니 톰부랑한테 빵구랑한테 그 야구면 두스 그 집어 쓰고 인식을 딱해 집어 소당한테 잡부 멤버 돈이 시바 돈이 집어 쓰고 인이라고 다들 그钱시와 요만다 잡부 지주케 버려 잡부 장钱진도 땅 버려
Actually, Chinese have no rights in Tibet, but then they said that there were many things wrong in Tibet, like that the rich were very rich and the poor were very poor. So they said we will, bring about equal distribution in the country through peaceful liberation.
As a citizen of Tibet, what do you think about that statement? That the rich had much and the poor did not, and did you think that there was a need for change about these circumstances?
다 콘수이 된데 라우라다 축부돈준 축부체로와 교부돈준 교부레스라로와 엔디 콜라야 팔라 칸데상도 냐마 벼라 된데 자우직 중규요르웨
별이야 옹마 다가해 축부랑 열 님중랑 열 다디 재미 찍고 속이 일하고
Yes, that was it in Tibet in those days. The rich were rich and the poor were poor. And that's what the Chinese said they were going to, distribute everything equally.
Do you as a man think, as if you were 20?
단데 내가 치고 소야게 내려야 다 잡부쳐 버고 맞아 버고. 별. 내한테 소요 말이다. 잡부코 잡부쳐je 다 별 맞아 버려. 맞아 사네 어때네 키칭 주신게 땅 버다. 다 징두데 잡부 돈 땅 버려. 인더면 셰서 요 말고.
But before they brought about liberation, they attacked Tibet.
Right.
So only after attacking Tibet was the liberation implemented. So that was not peaceful liberation.
Yes, but I'm asking, do you think that that there needed to be changes inside Tibet, aside from what the Chinese thought or what they wanted to do? Do you think the Tibetan people, as a farmer or as a sheep herder, do you think the people were unhappy with the way things were inside Tibet before the Chinese even showed up?
아니 팔라게 삼발라라와 다 게미 마용베게 ngonla 다 게미 레 메바 차샤와 아니 표현하려 싱바 요리 아니 루총에 요리 다 내가 가리 도구 센댕에 된데 요르와 아니 두주 단다 표현하려 디갑라와 지 교와 직도 고야 더지 요르웨스
주원 줘야지 뭐 탑시 남브레스도 자월음 주고도 nga바 둘 탑시 나나에 다치 카셰가 만년에 손으로지 제제때 만들게 송고도 기타원데 대선 송되게 도할 뭐만 좋아 땅야 탑시 제버레스 이나타 디갑리아 치 만들 받는데 마중 때 카셰 만년에 때 교바 땅 못으레스 자월음 전 송고도
Yes, I heard even His Holiness the present Dalai Lama says that during the reign of the fifth Dalai Lama, he did try to bring about reforms in Tibet, but he was not successful.
So, when the Chinese initially came to your village, how did they treat you when they first came?
아니 빨라 정세라 게미 당볼레로와 드디간에 간데라고 직체서
Kemi tangbo yongdo mi kemba nganzu langal tang mare. Mi kembe nganzu langal tang mare ken sabachi. Ja konren yongore se to pe tukda ra choi te shigre.
When we heard that the Chinese were going to come to our village, somehow the adults would not let us out on the roads because the Chinese were considered very bad.
So even before you saw them for the first time, they were already considered very bad.
Gyami tangbo migi ma thongye ne gyami dukja imba samgi yorwa.
Kanke odi trendy gorda.
Everyone thought that.
So what happened?
Chuna motona ko tukja race chen lapte tu. Titi ma jana ngole ya jingdo tang tukja shibutne chebade ya go on the
Even before we set eyes on them, they were considered bad because we have heard about the liberation that they brought about in China.
What did you hear about the liberation in China?
Ani gyana la jingdo tang be kola pala kinzu khande khoyore.
Ta tene yama mi somba donye mangbo yorwal. Rita pe somba janal ma rore. Janal ya somba ya pe ngol ya yongor.
There were many Tibetan traders who used to go to China to trade, and they brought the news.
And do you remember any of the stories that the traders told you about what they saw?
ane ta chongba yama jongge den de yorwa a chongba den ji gi lugyu sungba den de pala chengi de khare
na shenga me ta te na she yame songba de khari chi gi na le she yame
ane chi khogyo don zo
o ta chi koya le khamngon ya jame yongu yore se khamngol ma jam ngela amdu ngod ma tene ya khamngol ya tene ya thosal ya ta de garso chamdu festival de tinganzo ma shor bal.
Yes, we heard that the Chinese first arrived in Amdo, and then they gradually reached Kham, and then there were battles there. And then when the Chinese came to Chamdo, that was when Chamdo was conquered.
Dedo karaza pyoshong magji ngabyo bal. Ngabyo Chamdo shogdiyor. Ane ma shor ba. Ane Chamdo ngabyo jamme ke dedo khani jamme nal juichin bar.
So,
so at that time, the Tibetan commander-in-chief was called Ngabu.
Chamdo was conquered before the Chinese even came to your village?
Yes, that's right.
Chamdo shor sane. Ane nganzo pöle chushi khanro usar maji tuwale odi lambar ta shini. Chamdo shor sar pöle jami langa so sar.
Just stop a minute. How long was it before His Holiness returned, and did he come through your village again?
Ane gyarumchi ma gyana la phero ani dine ani ya phedu gane pala khunju lungbai gyune ya chigina na
Ade lungba nya phere.
Tuju khatus jela
Ngapchu ngap chisa ngapchu ngangal lor ya phedwal. Ngapchu ngapsil ma phe ngangal ya phedwal.
So His Holiness left for China in 1954, and in 55 he returned to Tibet and again through our region.
When he was coming through the first time, I asked what you thought, and you said you were worried about his going to China. But I didn't hear, what did they do? Did you actually see him with your own eyes? What did he look like? Can you describe the group of people who were with him?
ane ma gyana thangbo phedu gane and pala jega ra yorwa and dikabla kyamgurum biche khande dawich dos
kongle chonga ni sungu tuwal. Re doel.
ka singire
Oh, kongle chonga singere ji ko sungu. Kongle chunju re. Pe indo kap shuju yor ta zebo pe ngone tane me tonde khane pe semba gago yarji yor. Yor.
At that time, I think he was about 15 years old. He looked very young and very sweet. He was someone you felt happy on just seeing.
And what was he wearing?
아니 남사 가르쳐도에.
나
남사 가르쳐도에.
남자 소복 체에서 거진 추바 거야요. 거진 세복 추바요. 남자. 다 남자 세고로 봐. 고나서 남자 세래.
It was like in Mongolian dress. It was a chupa of yellow brocade.
This was the first time that you and many people saw His Holiness, but you had heard about him your whole life. So were you surprised by the fact that he looked like an ordinary person?
다 민망체래야 디갑데 탱마 당부 양물 음지 지기요라 빨라래 탱마 당부 지기요라 디마들래야
kasi hasal donye me kemba tinde yor wal tije ngoman jenyo tinde yugire da ngenzo shoga taga togo changi chunga tije po monda tije peche da ma pedu modo jenyo yugi mare
아니 제디오 간에 다 빨라 초안알이야 다 직sembenala 딘데 양양물 무슨 딘데 더 주기래 삼바지 레드웨 양 간데르데
다 담볼 랑가를 패원데 고나데 치바냐냐를 모델 랑가 요 말을 봐 치바냐냐 딸 칩제 패운 거를 디님도로 구승마미 요래 아니 구다 망보 요래 아니 마 재미 마미 망보 요래 마 패드 pe tabral pe mambo yor tene jawaram buchi 통과점 좀 모시야 yor pe zebo pe masigi pe kasakali tinde signanye papa si so si kasakali sigi penyeji yor.
So when His Holiness went onwards to China, the whole entourage was on horses. There were many people, security guards, there were noblemen, there were many Chinese soldiers. But as soon as you saw His Holiness's face, you recognized him. He was special, and he looked around. He looked this way and he looked that way, and you could immediately recognize him.
And what was the look on his face?
And you mean His Holiness?
Yes.
And Kyamguru Muchengi chen khande rawo chen si shugdo dikabla ya. Dikabla Kyamguru Muche khande sigdo.
가자 내도 고라지에 가자 갈 파수 시기 편난거 엠바티게 파수 근데 따그면 도 자와는 뭐 진짜 간데 이나 빼 파파시 수수 제 편난거 아니 쉐무 시기 편난거
None of the others looked this way or that, while His Holiness did that a lot, and he was smiling.
나 그때 가르쳤는데 먼저 정말 여러 발 이게 랑가 칸 상당서 써요. 상당서 대 접시수 대서 어디 나 상당년 줘. 자 오늘 저 배운데 상당 거 봐. 나 상당년 줘.
So our village had made a incense offering, and I was the one in charge of burning the incense.
And how did the entourage stop, and did he do anything, or did he keep going?
아니 다 파겔레야 가요레 남부스기 룽발라 페디가네 discuss 왜야 모투니 페샤레
마 페드
라온자날 마 페디가네
페드 룽바카가 니마 레스니스 슈구르 나 데제텔 니마치 퇴바 슈구르 쇼가 총셰스텔 니마치 퇴바 슈구르 데링가 좀 미포라 제가 당수 바제 제가 당수 아니 차wan 난 거죠.
So normally on the way they stopped a day or so in villages, But in my village, His Holiness spent an extra day, and the people were allowed to have an audience, and then His Holiness gave the money lung teaching.
Oh, how did the people feel? And that His Holiness was going to stay and teach.
아니 미만 속으로와 타경 경부르미지 님을 대바직 슈야다 아니 네가라 룽나야 이디가 아니 미만 저 셈베나라 초라 칸데 중요라
딱 칸데 미 가시 자나마 펜르스티 포모티지 무티기도와 셈바교는 무티기도와
So at that time, His Holiness was leaving for China, and many of the older people were crying.
Yes, they were crying. And where did His Holiness conduct the teaching?
And mani lung saja kawan nang re nang sa.
ngate shogo
The Mani Lung was conducted at the district headquarters of Shokuzong.
And how many people could attend?
And mi khazus lung lung sungdu ga mi mang khazus duel.
ta mema kase se na me pratene ba zom kasa kal zom ne metre pa che tang ko chawana me pra pa che dugi chawana ngi chigito.
I don't know how many people there were, but people were made to pass in a line, and then His Holiness, gave his blessings with his hands.
So, was there any teaching or lecture, or was it simply blessings?
Ani mani lung ma sung yorwa.
re jawar je sungur
And this sungdu gane ani changma khawa dere mi mang
ote tesa
changma
saje yangbatu saje pe jachimbutu
zongla.
종 linga tende linga jachimbu shibu yor sa tongbar panga jachimbu ote nas
At the district
jawar mo je
headquarters.
koran shuksa poro ugur jangjang
Ugurlana.
o gur moto kangba yo mare kawa yina ugur jabi pegor
There was a huge open ground where the teaching was conducted, and wherever His Holiness went, there were no houses. They set up tents for him to stay.
And do you actually remember attending that teaching and seeing him with your own eyes?
Ane palagi ane tenge due pagele mani lung kyangro sungdu gane pala pheba.
tengito
Yes, I can remember that.
And can you tell us what the teaching was about?
Ane mani lung de ane khari ge korla re.
ta manu lo chere se koran ke ta manu lo number was jawar mo je koran chere se rwa
That was the teaching of the Chenre Sikh, and His Holiness is a manifestation of the Chenre Sikh.
And would it be possible for you to just tell us a little bit about what that teaching is and what it means? What is the practice supposed to be?
Ani handa mani lung sungju na yorwa, and di kor la pala kidis mang la share yuves.
ta ti ko le ngai cha she ya me manu lo number manu lo nang sa na ti me pora pa che je ga tar wa jawar mo je shud tu thong bo tu ti ga shud tu ane cha ga de min tu dit nam de tu chuba de ga se je la ta jo de mang bo ta shi bu ji yor on na ya wo ti me pora ngol sha na ga tu
So I do not know much about the teachings, but I remember that His Holiness was sitting on a throne, and then just after the teaching got over, the people were to receive his blessings, and he didn't actually bless with his hands, but His Holiness was holding a little wand, sort of wand, which had some ceremonial scarves at one of its ends. Yeah.
tu ane ngara zo kong ya pya de de kar pyu tu sa na na zo pyu ngu sang dang mar bo yor ba sang ngu yor ba sho han se de le de yor o de le de re chi mo ting sha do ti ga ya tu pum sha do ko mang bo yu sha do
So
de ne ka she ta pyu su ta tha de ya bo shi bo de pyu su mi sang chi ta tha de ya bo shi bo chi pyu su mi sang chi ge yang ta chang bo ya bo shi bo chi pyu su
but kyang pala na khandre.
chang bo sa na mar bo yim ba le nyam mu bun da de yor
So offerings were also made to His Holiness by the people, and then I saw on a piece of cloth that many currency were piled up, and then also horses were offered to him. There was one beautiful spotted horse, and then another brown one that was offered to His Holiness by the people.
And were they able to take the currency and the horses with them?
Any ngui phigyo donjo da ta donjo ani
다 마냠도 티친소.
yeah, they were taken away together.
They were taken away. And when His Holiness was coming on that road that you fixed, were there decorations on the ground or on the buildings or anything?
Ani tapala number so langa jiseo wala. Langa digi yayu duwala chikta re kasima jantaya dabudan chik khari seyo rwe. Langa lamga chipole pay yungu yore ya yayu duwala ya chik me to dabudan tinde ta yore.
근데 단 요마레 마페도 야가 차바 시부 잡도요레 차바 잡 답바 요레 랑가 동자 시부레 마페도
When on his journey to China, the road was bad, it was raining very heavily, so there were no decorations.
No decorations. Oh, so when he arrived at your village, was the weather still very bad?
Ani pala number to Tongsep de la Pedugane, Namshi Dukja de Wedding.
네 차바 동자 잡고 차바 잡 추도 답바 답베 동자 시부레
Oh, it was raining and there was mud everywhere.
And were the people standing outside in their beautiful clothes in the rain?
Ani emiman sangma chabanalia.
에 차바 가이 좀 말해 고 차바 밥대 좀 요마레 고 한자 대대 그러고
Ani miman sangma tuglo yapuda chikuni le
어디
yungurwa.
둘로 두부들이 이게 봐 차바 그때 두부 방금 말해 다 차바 밥대 망보 밥은 닭바 요래 추 요래 빼 랑가 갈래 가고 싶어 와 저럼 이제 패백값이
Yeah, the road was bad, but the rain was not. It was okay, you know, to stand out in the rain.
Was okay. And do you remember what the date was and the month?
Pala dawa di tengi duwe dawa khatuina. Ta chaba jabe thuzuchila rwa.
이제 나와 시바 나바 대바 인제를 달라
Thenda sunguywa.
변다 나바 시바 대바 인제 차바 시다 잡고를 닭바 추구파 아우 나와 시바 인제 말해 배제 나와 나바 두바 대바 인제를 달라 대도 추첨부로 봐 추첨부 상바다 추키도 거래
Because it was raining so heavily at that time, I think it must have been around the 5th or the 6th lunar month. You know, there was so much rain that bridges used to be washed away in the rains.
And when you saw His Holiness for the first time, did he look like how you expected him to look, or were there any surprises for you?
ane pala gyawru michi dangbo jerwa dedu kan tha susu sembe nala gyawru michi dinde chi yore samya dawu ji ngema yoba nang shin duwe ya mandra dawu sto
te ngoman jeyo mana kande chi yuda samtren de grafala are ta koran chi te mandas ji du jeyo.
Yeah, since I hadn't seen him earlier, I wondered how he would be, but when I saw him, he was something wonderful.
And, you know, there was very much concern about His Holiness going to China. Was there any attempt on the part of the people in the village to share their concerns with him? Were they allowed, and did they have any audience to say we're very worried, or we heard the Chinese are causing problems?
Ani di kableya ta semre shubu jormi changmaleya ta gyana la pheya dileya mangchela ta deba yomarwa
yomar
ani chik kyangpur michen la ya shuya dabu ta de chik ra yona
dinde ragmar
no, that was not possible.
Okay, so now we know he came through the village, and now about, was it a whole year later, same season, he comes back from China?
ane ta gyana la phe dorwala ta ma phe yundu gane logic taktas jela ma phe suwe thuju khande da wujre ma phe du gane
ma phe du dal hasal ya phe on ro
lao hasal ya phe du
ngab ju ngangal lol ya phe yin sung du
di kab la phe ya phe du gane khengi yewela
yo yang nga 이게 야 공부 잠다시 될 양한도 대리체가 저이
디 아니 로직이 제라르웨
그래다 납주 납실 마페 나갈 야페를 발 야페도 페지 근거해도 남감부터
ale gunge thujula
어
rwela
그거 두줄 이세래
changmuyo rwela kambuyo
어 장모 사건부터 잡았던데 민두 양아야 장달이야 뭐 이게 숙소 우고 같은데 저주체가 양안 조인티티 나대다 내가 때가 요 말이 몇 캠버 여러 발 다가 케멀로니 텐데 조이
kemalonges na
케멀 다 잘라던데 뭐 딸이 깬 로고로 다 이게 저주체 몇 대고로 다 따다던데 나 말로고로 근데 로가 안 조이
So when he returned in 1955, I think it must be around winter time because the climate was dry at that time. And during his return journey, I was deputed to help the people set up tents in Kongpo Gyamda.
And is Kompaganda, is that your village or another village?
Kongpo Gyamda de pala kyunzu chongsep ne tha ringlu re.
니마 시 로고래
Kongpo Gyamda was about 5 days away from my village.
Oh. So was he going to go through your village again?
Ani chu phedu gane ani pala chongsep ne pheyo marwel.
어 모델랑가 요런 정실 백 말에 모델랑가 요리 옆에 온도 모델랑가 요리
By the time His Holiness returned, there was motorable roads already constructed, and he would not be arriving through my village.
Oh. Now, how did these roads get constructed in 1 year?
Ani logic na langa dunzu khande sue chare.
랑가 때 나보고 소고 이기를 말라 랑가 야부터 요마다 까자 다가 랑가 다 모터 타스 텐데지 모터 첨부 요마 모터 충지 집 장자리
So they might have been in the process of constructing these roads right from the beginning, you know, because of course the roads were not very good roads, and the vehicles were small jeeps.
And who constructed these roads?
Lanka sunge suina pala.
랑가 산ኝ 어디 배바 매해
Those that constructed the roads were Tibetans.
So this was a Tibetan government enterprise.
Pöshungi langa sujurwe.
다 재미게 배송으로 수이난다 수매난다 된다 다 예술 미시 랑가 소고 땅으로 수이게 봐 안에 내도 lumba카 소주 lumba네 안에 모델 랑가 소니 쇼스 안에 모델 랑가 소설 나 로이
I don't know if the Chinese took permission from the Tibetan government or not, but we were asked to come and construct the roads, and even I was there.
And were you paid to construct the roads?
라자 테기르에 라가
나저 대기도 대자 된데 대기도 나저 대기도
Yes, we were paid.
And who was in charge of the actual daily work?
아니 다 고티 수르도 칼라 내가 치살라
야.
랑가 수살라 고티 수르도
고치 연주 lumba네 양 연주 lum바 미타가 지두 수수 lum반다 고지에 다가 유지를 봐 다티 연주 lum바네 미 고지 미치두 아니 디나네 저 아만도 코랑 고지 칙치 아니 디나 주쇼 수시도
There were many people, and the people of our village was led by one of our villagers, and there were many units there.
So was there any sense that the Chinese were constructing these roads, or did you feel the Tibetan government was constructing them?
Nepalagi sambala dikable langa soya de pe shungi sugi yoru samgi duwe
재미가 수그레 삼탄데도 보숑고데 랑가 소스를 니 고모손다 재미랑게 달래고 그버벌
I think it was the Chinese, because I have never heard of the Tibetan government asking people to construct roads.
I see. And what do you think about this fact that these nice roads were put in? Do you think that was a good idea or not a good idea? What do you think?
Ani langa sebe kabla rwa. Ani pala ki sembe na la ya langa suya di yakpu ris gong suwe langa suya di yakpu mari gong suwe.
다 랑가 소나 다 거리대 지기 시부 하고 매다 정부 라고 시부 거리 지기 다 하모.
To be frank, I did not know the significance of building roads at that time.
Yes, yes. So when His Holiness came through, you were selected to arrange the tents in the
Kombo Gyamda.
in Yongya. And how did you get that big job?
Ani Gyarumichi ya pediu gane pala Kombo Gyamda le ya khursunge dinde tang roala.
네.
And di lagati pala la khandes chinirare.
땡간주 롱바 날이야 다 가르쳐 보래. 미 근데 로고래 했어. 배낭에 날이 미 템바치 요래. 오 코치 케이블. 다 코케나 콜레 케마 거르바 딱 케마 거르바. 딜로니 같이 두고. 단디는 저 롱바 공부하죠. 공부하기 다 자와는 뭐 핍수 쇼고를 봐. 지 동장리 다 담아담는 키지 로고를 봐. 어디게 케마 디지 공부 잠달이야 더디지가 페버리. 뭐 아마 자와는 뭐지 가와 페오나 코로나 더디 유유래. 디갑들 마페도 코나 우구르 유유래 봐. 야 페도 다 수주 lumbe 더디지 제시고. 사자나의 페온도 모던할 페온도 베타 림부 페게를 봐. 땡아도 맨주 lumbe는 공부 잠달 케버리. 잠단데 사실 지금 그거 맞다. 다 녀버려.
So from my family, one adult was required to go and go for the preparing the reception, and then we had to take one horse, and the local monastery also had to receive His Holiness, and they had to take the heavy musical instruments to Kombo Gyamda. So these were taken on the horses. And once His Holiness was in Kombo Gyamda, then Lhasa was very close by.
Okay. So, can you tell us about the return of His Holiness?
Ane gyarumsi ya phedu gane tha Lhasa li ya phegi yorwa ta gyanane. And dipala dikorte sungda. Kombo Gyamda la phedu khare chungso di jiksa.
다 공부 잠들이 나마 로사르 케마 야체 나 케마 로냐 마 로사르 다 자원은 뭐지 세장 든데지 페용 거를 해서 당연히 고고를 발 당나 동습을 봐 동습만 랑가 모델 랑가 도나 페이지 니마치 멘스 도거를 등한 도이 간데 자원은 제가 도이나 제가 도이 다때 남세에서 상바 쳐보 주요를
Samba.
디 롱바디 명리야 남세 시월 안에 대 상바 재미가 상바 첨부 시비 다셔 등가 상바 수마데 달랑아 대디월 다 자와는 뭐지 배용으로 모다 페이지 집 족든지 여설이 고라 방제 배용 것도 안에 대도 다야 자와는 제 모더나리 시제스 모두 지게 요마르 봐
So after I had been to Kombo Gyamda to help set up the tents and everything, I was back in my village. But I knew when His Holiness was going to pass through, and then I went there. And there is a place called Namse and a bridge called Namse Samba, Namse Bridge. So I stood very close to the bridge as the convoy of jeeps passed by. I think there were 6 to 7 jeeps. And when the vehicle went by, you just got a glimpse of His Holiness, nothing more.
Who did these jeeps belong to, Pala?
Ani jeep tunzu sugi ina.
집 재미게 재미게
They were Chinese jeeps.
And His Holiness had been gone almost a year in China. What were your thoughts and feelings at that when you saw him come back?
Ani Gyaramchita logics pa gyanala pero gorwa ta pen su yala. Tatsu pedu gane ani pala sembenalia choa khande dawski.
Then ya mi pura kago orata. Ta jawan je ya pere sidi ta mi pura ka. Te chi sanda tanga chitinde chi gore.
Everybody was very happy when His Holiness was returning.
Did you have any idea about what happened when he was in China?
아니 gyana la khare chungba dinde dikabla pala ge khare khenswe
지금 하고 뭐 손들 다들 장날 가리 난거 내서 하고
no that nothing at that time nothing we did not know.
And so now this is
55.
Are there many Chinese in your village at this time?
타 직동 국경합 중에 ngaroala 직동 국경합 중에 ngaroa
아 야 페도
lao anti kableya pala khyensu thongse byayen de wala gemi mangbule charwe
재밀랩사를 못다 모델 랑가자 쇼사를
yeah the Chinese had arrived because the roads were constructed.
Right, but I meant, was there any problem with the Chinese in your village at this time?
Di kable dinde gemi nyamdo le ya jikange dabu chungde yorwe
라
ngapchu ngenge lo la rwa pala thongsep na la ya gemi da mimang para le ya jikange dabu dinde yorwe
대갑리에 축신들의 요마를 대도 축부생들의 요마를
no at that time there was no distractions on the Chinese side.
Did anything difficult ever occur in a later year?
아니 디 제라 강에 더부 가디 중요르웨
다들 제일 강에 사실 가르쳤나 때문에 진도 담보를 월 진도 생에 담보를 월 어떻게 다 강갈 강에 태워를
The problems began when the Chinese started to enforce the liberation.
진도 땅 때문에 탐정 땅
Then after liberation came struggle sessions.
Please tell me, how did they try to enforce the liberation? Can you describe that, please?
아니 콘주기 빨라 징저 컨디션 땅서
다
빨라 롱관나
진도 땅에서도 네 당복을 공도 탐정 땅도 배나다 미사 주체 못 지게 빨라다 아말라다 다 근데 여러 발 아니 되게 많고 아니 컨트롤 배니다 땅 탐정 땅 아니 드라마다면시 아니 대체래 대 미사 치부쿠 주다 가리나 되게 보라 마초아초 마 그죠 마테가치 다 디날이야 지게 있나 양 코라키로로
So the first thing they did was they started the struggle sessions during which the heads of the rich families were accused and then beaten, and then whatever they possessed were distributed among the poor. But of course, the Chinese took away the good things that they owned.
And in your village, was there anyone who was considered wealthy and arrested?
아니 빨라게 총셉 나라야 유촉부리 라든데 수심수엘라.
당연 줄 롱벌라 미사 첨부들의 망부여. 미사 첨부들의 망부여. 어떻게 보라 다 폐체 다 매버서사르. 나한테서 때는 둘러 공부 첨부지요. 다 공부때 라마들의 탐정 땅 라마들 정관을 로 망부축. 아니 라마들 정관 나를 공부 소르.
In my village, there were many rich families, but most of them were completely destroyed. There was a monastery known as Dula Monastery nearby, and the Lama of the monastery was Tamzind and then imprisoned, and that's where he died.
So, in your village, there were many wealthy people who were destroyed. So, how were the wealthy people destroyed?
빨라게 총셉 나리아 미잔 축부 망보여와 미잔 축부 콘주브라 짬에 땅으로와 개미게 칸데 짬에 땅으로 칸데 친
제가 미산한데 미차가 뿌라 정강을 녹도 주 정강을 녹 아니 녀다 땅 아니 가시 정강 나랑 10어 정도 망아 정강 10어다 요 말에 망아 정강 10어
The members of the rich families were imprisoned, and then they were beaten, and most of them died in prison.
And did you ever witness any Thamsin session yourself?
아니 빨라랑기 탐진 땅서든데 통유나 시유나. Yes, I have.
Would it be possible for you to describe this, even though I know it might be painful to tell us?
직 송야 라타칼레 디스유기레 두부치라 통여와라 이네 디직 대시 견로 치사
다 바가셰세 때 미사치 부스투 공부날 말해달 바가셰세 미사치 부스투 바가슈다스 디기 부다 나마티 되게 재민 살 로버레사 민도 다디 부모디 테이투
게미살 조레스나 게밀 고타르에
게미살 로사르 부다 나마티 게미살 로사르 다 부모디 테이투 부모들이야 다디 lumba티게 정보 여러 다 야스마세 가사가 정보 여러 정보티게 미티게 보라고 아니 미상콜레 지 요보다 요문다 가도투 다티게 보라고 아니 부모디 가르스나 토강알이야 티다 강바 자친부터 디 토강알이야 티 강알이야 티네 다티 미상게 요무텐데게 다 탐진 땅기 인시 뭐마 랍인서레 탐진 생데 간데지 한 먹고 인지르와 탐진 땅기 인시 랍인서레 다 재미맘에 망불렀어 재미맘에 되게 보라는데 타고치 지토강 타고치 지대 아니 계주 집도 이게 되니 집도 다티 계주 때 배버리 이게 되니 때 배버리 집 초가지도 집 재매지도 아니 부모들이야 다 탐진 땅기 라고를 해서 다 탐진 땅고래 라고도 아니 땅한도 몇보라 살다가 방한테 샤셔서 아니 부모들이야 때네 요무직이야 라네 다 몰래 내다 때서 땅서 내다 때서 땅 딸리 주 지만는 야탄 아니 샤셔서 다야 요무직이 라네 야 주베 시부가인스 그 주다 땅가체 야샤서 양티기 내다 땅마서 야 요무직 라네 주 다보도 빼마세 때치 시부가 제베 룩주다 망보지 라부 지금 거기는 많지 nem 야야지 제 샤셔서 내다 담아서 양티 치리 지 요무다 지라네 다치 뭐 고구구 제 대대로 볼다 고구구 맞에 가면 비모살 쭉 샤셔로 봐 아니 주다 고구구 제고 말했어 딸이 주 야지 탄 야마지 nem 쳤어 다 내다라 때스 땅서 건데 다티나라 요무 강바 조조지도 강바 조조지 다 당부 탐지 땅기 인세 켈레니 모레도 강조데 다 엠바티게 보라 탐지 땅 트이 살사네 되는 한도 종습바 미티게 계제트서 탐지 땅야 여베스 계제트도 tenganzo 탐지 땅야 메스 tenganzo 종바카 카가레 탐지 땅야 메스 라바 아니 타가레 때 요모 강조 들이야 다그 나무 켈레 진이 주 인스 주야랑 탐지 돈 랍스 더뭐 이제 탐진 땅주파 요쇼 뭐뭐라 sembajo 모데기들 정말 탐진 땅야 민두 뭐뭐라 sembajo 모데디들 아니 재미뱀보다 개규다 콘조 땡당고 주베 탐진 땅이 이제 켈레 제버려서 다들이 주 탐진 땅 모여 가르래서 다 탐진 지랄 땅을 해라부터 다 몰라 땅야 집도 강바 조조 지야지 미두
Yes, I have witnessed a struggle session. It happened to one family, wealthy family. There was one wealthy family called a Bakasha family, and the man of the family and his wife had already surrendered to the Chinese, while the daughter, the sister of the man, was still in the home. And then one day, all the people were called together by the Chinese, and this family had many servants, and then the girl was brought out, and then she had to kneel down, and they were some Chinese soldiers, official, and a translator, and one who was a writer. And the writer and the translator were a Tibetan man and a woman. And this girl was kneeling on the ground, and then one of her maid servants came and pulled her by the hair and then started beating her. Then after she was done, then another maid of the family came up and then gave her a scolding. And then again the third maid came up, and as the girl stood with her head down, she pressed her head just down on the ground. And while she sat in that position, a fourth maid came up and pulled her hair up. And then the Chinese asked everyone gathered over there if anybody else wanted to beat this girl, but none of the villagers stood up. And then there was one maid of the family who was limping as she walked, and then they told her, why aren't you coming up to Tamsin this girl? Because yesterday you had agreed to do so, and what's wrong with you? If you don't, we will Tamsin you. And then, she was so sad, she was crying and sitting there, and she didn't subject the girl to any Tamsin.
So it sounds like there was preparation the day before they brought out somebody to be Tamsin, that they got people together who would do it and threaten them. Is that correct?
Ta disidu ganerwa ta sanyi Tamsin tangya ina yuchobuchilaya di nimang hani ne kunju thadi chigi yosarwa yobu yomu dunzula ke ta
ke ta thadi chigi yosare sanyi kunju Tamsin tangi yinse Tamsin tangi susu yose kunju keje chigi yosare ane kunju Tamsin sai kari hamogo ane nge tangi lagu yosare kunju.
So yes, it looks like the servants were told the day earlier that there would be a Tamsin next day and that they were to take part, but I don't think they knew what really Tamsin was. So that's why they offered and agreed to do so.
But they didn't know what it was.
They didn't know what it entailed.
Yes, they did. And they didn't know what it entailed. Were there other people from the village watching these maids do this?
ane thongset nangi mi shamba dindege mangbo temu tange ledwe di Tamsin tangsalaya
temu tamardala kande kemi kongor kande sondu shose tombanal mi te choku marese pura yongorese.
They just didn't come to watch it. They were ordered to come and attend it. That's why the villagers were there.
And can you remember what was the sentiment or the feeling of the villagers as they watched this woman being Tamsin?
Ta pomo dipake Tamsin tang digi yorwala. Ani thongse changme ta digi yorwa. Ani changme ki sembe na jik chowa khare da buji ko ina.
Kanga semba dogur wal. Ta ko jame ko tukja tu sam ta kanga ke semba chome. Ta kanga maga de de gro ko. Inata kapto chil kolya lo tu yo mari le lo ya yo mari kora kanche sorry level.
Yes, everybody was sad and they did not like the Chinese, but for the time being, there was nothing that they could do about it.
And was this particular family in the village, how were they regarded by the villagers? Were they especially difficult to people or not?
Ani thanda chongba Pakasha mizanji yorwa la Pakasha mizanji yorwa handa Tamsin tangsa ge mizan de ming la ya Pakash
re Pakasi ur Paka
Paga mizanji yorwa
Paka thongba re ko
no and Paga mizan de thugyu ne Quran sugeta yayo la ya dupu tange drabu dupcha dinde khari yorwe khade
dinde nga kyu me nga o de yang khaga re thongba.
Actually, I do not have much knowledge about the family because I come from a different village.
I see. Pala, do you know what happened to that young girl? They were.
Ane DJ la ane pomodila khari chungre pala.
Ta yomu kanjo ke mole Tamsin tang tu merwal ta merwa 다 토가는 마클로 다마 바꾸르와 르와 나도 토간 제시르와
알아 미창마 토가다 돼
토가 공시르와 코
사갈 말해
살요 말다 토가 제시르와 다 프라마 바꾸르와 다 간조 메게 보물 탐데 마당르와 다 간조 들이야 보물때 개발 깨버렸다 마키고 레스 제가 보물 탐데 마당르스 다 탐진 처리할 당기 인세네 보모텔기 간조들이야 깨는 딱 견서 밥 주고 다 간조 견서 밥 두고 요 말이 이나면 개발 깨네 그런도 잡나 아르 들네 아르 때에 탑시 간다체네 견서 밥 주고
So this whole tamjing took place on the top of the house. And then after the session was over, everybody had to come down. And at that time, this lame maid who had refused to tamjin the girl was punished in the way that she had to carry this girl on her back and climb down the ladder. While she was, hardly able to do it because she was lame. And then these people, they, put the girl, forcefully put the girl over her back and then, held the girl over there and made the lame girl to climb down the ladder.
So, yeah, were there? This did not take place in his village. So, Palo, why were you there?
아니 다다 탐진디 빨라게 정셉 나라 땅요 말와 안 빨라 폐게 칸데슬레레
나 나라 룽번 마 내고 돌 네 가시 저랑 쇼송아
다른 소로나 카진디 요 말와
나 내고 돌 다 공부 매를 레버 단다 바가시스티 레버가 다 대랩도 내고 돌서라고 말해 다 내고 돌서 랑가 요 말해
So I went on a pilgrimage, and then on my way I reached Kongpo Me, and from there I was not able to go forward.
I said, went on a pilgrimage, and I reached this village.
And that Kongpo Me liore Pagala sadi.
Kongpo chamna shestere.
Tanda Pagala pala.
Re otere lumba tagana hare.
공보 매 근데 데네 발라 아니 페마도레 네고라
데네 안 내고 도서 말아래
So I was able to reach until this place called Phaka where the Tamjing took place, and from there I was not able to go on my pilgrimage.
Palo, what stopped you from going?
아니 데네 네고라 가르치는 페토야 말해
다 드고 탈래는 또 추식한 마음이 쏙 버려 드고 탈래 다 재미로 마테마치니 잡사래 다 마음에 가시 공부를 많이 용버려 가시 장을 봐도 다 너도 그 마음이 숨겨서지 나도 공부 날 용버려 마음이 숨겨서지 공부 날 용버려 아무도 마음이 공부 숨겨서지 공부 날 용버려 다 공부를 하는 거 마음이 숨겨서지 써버려 공부를 다 마음에 다 아무도 되게 야공체 파 장을 파다를 다 나주 공부 날에 캄바케 마음이 숨겨 요리 공부고 마음이 숨겨 요리 다 어디 날에 나 요리다
디나 주로 아빠라 So at that time the Chushigandu had been started organized, and then they had fought the Chinese once or twice already. And about 300 of their soldiers had come to Kongpo, and 300 soldiers of Amdo were sent towards Changlatangre. Changlatangre sungbe.
Amdo 되게 장을 파다를.
Changsna kabare.
다 재밀만 생각 땅으로 와. 가서가 사가니.
Towards the north to resist the Chinese on that area. And from Kongpo, we raised about 300 fighters. So I joined the Kongpo unit.
Kongpo unit. Can you tell us what happened as a member of the Chushigandu?
아니 빨라 아니 다 Chushigandu라 창네 아니 가르쳐 있어.
다 대를 나와 대체 숨쉬지 대버려.
가와.
공부 날. Chushigandu 날. 다 니마치 다 공복될 참나 시절때 공부 주요래. 참나 티질린 공부 주요래. 다 디나 재밀랩사래. 디나 재밀랩사래. 다 추주간도 바갈 대요래. 다 디니 쇼게 마자바 만도르다. 쇼게 마 잡아 drone 쇼게 남란사 신나 마지 잡도 공다사 리비리보다 징버다 재밀. 다 데일 가르쳐버렸어도 재미 페이지 자사서 세버려. 나도 추시간도 밀수 미치게 좀 해라. 때 공다 양 줘도 그러.
So I was 3 to 4 months with the Chushigando in Kongpo, and at that time at Kongpo Chapna there was a monastery called Thekchenling, and the Chinese had arrived there. So we left for Phaka in the morning to fight them, and we fought them from morning till dusk, and over 100 Chinese were killed, while none from the Chushigando side died. And in the evening we fled.
You fought the Chinese because were you in the monastery or with the
Chinese were in the monastery?
The Chinese were in the monastery.
Gyami dunzu tanda Thekchenling gombala lero a chapna la ya. Ani gyami phege yudu gane ani pala khunju ki gyami la pha gombala pha jingra.
Are pha thor.
That's right.
What did you use to fight them?
Ani khare ki jingimbe.
다 멘다 장장이 다가 멘다 모두 지금 매조 같은데 쳐보던데 요 말은 안 줄라.
We fought them with guns, but they were ordinary guns because we did not have any other artilleries.
Where did the guns come from?
아니 멘다 돈수 칸에 코용을 빨라.
야.
멘다 돈수 칸에 남페레.
다 멘다 담은데 열달. Chipa Malaysia, Dravo, Dramada, Divincia, Dravo, Menda for a Susu Kimodo, Shunga, Menda Yomarvo.
Susuru.
There is a turkey he would want.
There were many different kinds of guns, and we ourselves owned the guns. They were not from the organization.
I see. And so no one was killed in your group. Did you kill all the Chinese in the monastery?
Pala kyunzu nane 징에 수직 시오마로와
시오마로
아기미 곰바나라 영에 돈수 창마 세토르에
상마 세토마로 konsu 망부 여러벌 잘하세 세버버다.
We could not kill all of them because there were many in number, but we killed over 100.
And then you fled. Where did you flee to?
아니 gonda 트치로알라
다 gonda 다 트로 걸어.
가와테베
다 건데 야야야지 소가 야 들어. 다 두수 줘버려. 요 말에 다 됐네야 잠미라 토나 마자비 제 모두 지게 다 사서 쇼르사르. 납중가로 사서 쇼르사르 요 말에 다 사서 쇼르스모 생각들이야 런 버려. 에 자와르 무친 자갈 패송스 제는 런용 버렸다. 당연히 야야 소가 야야치 아니 야야야 lep트 다양해도 공부 마음이 열어봐라. 다 마마마 로드 스스 야 모두chen 다 가도 마 로드. 다 데모고 공부 뒤고도 발다 탐지 당부 고추운도 칸다 미쳐도 두고 되고 말에 되고 말다 매버라 시르벌.
이네 아니 참 가시 마 저러에 낭라 양교.
다 로니 미망고 로드. 난저고 먹지지요 코마 로드. 먹지티 데모 디지 칸사 부초라 생겼지 미야고 주요. 어떤 간저 공부 먹지리. 타프라마 로드 단지 요마리 좀 저리.
Then we fled from Kongpo and towards Lhoka. And then we received a message saying that Lhasa had fallen and that His Holiness the Dalai Lama had left for India. So then the group disbanded and some of the people went back to the village. And then many people were fleeing at that time.
And Hala, what did you do?
아니 빨라 그냥 가르나베.
나다 쳐도 영야 들이 죽었어.
가발라.
자가 소쳐도 요야다 미보라 쳐도 두고 그러다. Jamaica Tamjin Tam, Supra Tubuchanga Chen, Malta Tamji Tanga Yomarwa, Nara Lumba Yomarwa, near Lumba Ya Tarimushasar, Tanga Mi Lumba Lepturva, Ina Jona Majona Ya Jamaica Kapti Chan Rodwell, Taco Samba Singatia Topo Yorva, and Jagaso Chudo Yonta, Chudo Tadiche.
I prepared to escape to India because though I was far away from my village, I had resisted the Chinese, and then in my heart, I wanted to go to India.
And Paula, did you have any family back in your village?
Ani Tongsep Nalia Pala Nangmi so Yomare.
Yomari Namubra Luberva.
Kawa.
Nara Lumbella.
Numbu Tongsep Nala.
Naraya Sanalia Luberva.
All my family members were left in my village in Sinang.
And had you been married at that time?
Dikabla Pala Changsa Gyap Sarwe.
Changsa, did you Changsa Jab Yomari?
No.
And how long did your escape to India take?
Any Pala any Gagana to Pedugane, any Tuzu Ringlu Gorso.
La.
Tuzu Ringlu Gorso.
Shitakasu. Langa Tukja Shibutu, Lolumbanma Yombar.
Oh, it took me a long time because the road was bad, and then I came to Mun Tawang.
Langa Pe Tukjatu, Dawa Mangu Gasunaz.
Many months.
Combo me Mangu Yori, Tachodo Yoni, Nanzanyamdo Yombare.
Along with me, there were many people from Congo fleeing together.
So you were in a group of people?
Me Mangbunyamdo Rogruchine to Yunguyo.
Took many months. Okay. I think that we could wrap up. So let's see. Let's see. Why do you think the Chinese invaded Tibet?
아니 빨라게 tenyalar samyalarwa gyamigi phenan 가르치는 진숨체래 표 가르치는 진수치나
딱콕 가르치는 지나나니야 용이 가르치는 별 두부 땅기 가르치기 매 다때 내게 세고나 갈래가 보이기로 거 저완 니 세고나 갈래가 보이기다 가르치는 용이 별로고 그 라보를 벌생에도 최 도구를 라보를 최생에도 도구를해서 매번 속을 라보를 안에 미타가 보라 잠에 당고를 라마이나다 공부보라 마식 두나니세 그 제사를.
So it's difficult for me to say, why they came and caused us so much suffering. But they used to say that religion is poison, and they wanted to destroy the Dharma, and they destroyed many monasteries.
And what do you think could have been done to help the Tibetan people?
아니 배워서래 디갑래야 지게 가리라고 럭바지 중요나 폐요로.
라.
디갑랑 안줄래야 럭바 가리 중나 약부 중요래.
다 럭바 뭐네 디갑다 배송게 이모라가 럭바 쇠도할 이모라가 상황이 내고 럭바 쇠제 별이야 먼저 permitted lobjongta imare lungba lobjongta konzo lobjongche ane kolak chetende ki belya jamjab namdonan macho ma shodalusum shesa churte macho ya to taba cho o tende chebare chenaita de chemaje yomari jemi morolanga so sare be khotsibu shibu cha sare de 쿵 마추르 쿵 choya yomari 쿵 마추르.
So at that time, the Tibetan government had requested help from the United States, and secretly many Tibetans were trained in America and airdropped into Shotalosum and other areas. But by then, the Chinese had become very powerful because they had already built all the roads, and it was not successful.
So what do you hope will be preserved about Tibet for future generations?
마옹기 다 부기 된다라와 안 배박이 가리 간주 가리 송겹 지고고요 단다 벽이
다 송접대 다 출신이기 다 송접 제국이라고 그래다 쳐다 시 다 개체슈로 출신이기 돈은 뭐마이나 출신이라고 단다다 출신이기 돈네 송접 제국이라고.
So I feel the most important is to preserve our religion and politics of Tibet.
And how has it been for you to tell us your story and your memories and eyewitness accounts of the history of Tibet? What was that like for you to do this today?
아니 빨라게 드린 간줄래야 빨라게 식바체 빨라게 냠뇽 중바체 퇴바다 참ang 간줄로 송로알라 엔디 빨라라 칸데저브직 중스웨 딘데 숭규디
다 야고 총호 삼태인데기들 나라 시험받을 라버월 다케나 야가 유지를 두가 유지를 대대 전화서 예와 체계 유지다 체계레벨
It has been good. I told you whatever I knew and I've experienced.
And
옛날 야가의 용식이 두가 용식이라 말. 예와 체계로 말.
I might have told you some things which are helpful and some things which might not be good. So you have to, like.
Do you think it's important that the elder people tell the story of their experiences of Tibet?
아니 빨라기 삼발라로아 다 공로 첨부 돈주기 수수 루규디 셰야 개 첨부를 삼기도에
어때 탱기도 때 야보레 가신 칸데 자고 가지고 자고 도알 자고 될 라바 도고레 라부도 다 라소스 나라 냠 셴바데는 나라 라부 이스 안데 마마 nga 할레세 텐데 요마레 카테보 전부 요마레 거 미쿠버레
Yes, I do. It is very good to tell your life story. My camp leader told me that I should tell my story, and though I'm not a very capable person, I have said it.
Why do you think it's important to do it?
아니 루규셰야 디 가르치니 개침부레사.
다땡아도 별런세 톱나 지그리 데모고 단데 지나서 같은데 뒤잖아 zam불링레 찹라 쳐도 거버려 봐. 땡게 유나다 찹라지 대대스 양을 쳐리 이기티 근데 zam불링레 땡게 유지로 봐. 그러발. 디다 빼케 첨부로 봐.
So it is very good because you will show this to the world, and the world will come to know about Tibet.
We've talked about many things, so I want to just ask again, if this interview was shown in Tibet or China, would this be a problem for you?
다른 티워틸렌 제바디 벼다 갸나 템버 예난 팔알 강에 요르웨사.
라.
간주디 양교 지구고 요르 팔알와 계저직. 다른 티워틸렌 제바지 요르와. 디 벼다 갸나 템버 예난 팔알 강에
강에 요 말에 강에 요 말아. 네 단데 셰바디 정부 정자를 보고.
There'll be no problem. Whatever I told you is the truth.
강에 요 말에 때 고랑도 강 제바디 네 라버로.
I told you whatever they did to us.
Can we use your real name for this project?
아니 발라게 밍 페주타나 디기르와.
되게.
Yes.
되게.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
안 발라 루경 안줄로 송버들라 투지치 슈에.
오, 도치치.
This welcome.
This